Greetings and welcome to Future Challenges and Closing Notes, the last chapter from the 5th edition of Social Work Experience, Mary Ann Suppes and Carolyn Chrissy Wells, Chapter 12. A very short lecture here, just kind of wrapping things up for the semester from the textbook. Future Perspectives on Globalization. Basically, some of the biggest challenges facing our society today is overpopulation, and what happens is that humankind continues to be increasingly interconnected across the globe. Globalization is a multi-directional and includes economics, communication, values, technology, transportation, and urbanization. The GAO predicts security, sustainability, economic growth, and demographic changes, and science and technology will be the key influences for quality of life in the U.S. I think we can learn a great deal from what happened with the financial crisis in 2008 to look at when one financial market begins to collapse or have issues, that it affects the global the globe. It has an effect on the global economy. UN has 2015 goals, and these are the goals of things to happen by that time: is to eradicate poverty and hunger. Extreme poverty has declined. Universal primary education, 88% of the world's children are enrolled in school. Gender equality and empowerment, more women serve in political leadership positions. And then reduce child mortality. Child mortality has declined around the world. Improve maternal health, no positive improvement. Reduce the spread of HIV and AIDS, no progress. And ensure environmental sustainability, and the results are negative. Although there have been some advances in each of these areas, we will continue to see that these are important areas of change moving forward in the future. Demographic trends in the U.S. by 2050, Caucasian will represent only 50.1% of the population, making them the new minority. Asian and Hispanics groups are the fastest growing populations. By 2050, persons over the age of 65 will represent 20.7% of the total population. 8% of children live in a home with a grandparent, and if you'll reference back to the lecture that I did on the elderly, you'll recall that there is a sandwich generation, the generation that happens to live between the elderly, and then the adult children of the elderly have their own children, and they are the sandwich in between raising their kids and taking care of their elderly parents. Immigrants who primarily come from Mexico, India, the Philippines, China, and Vietnam into the United States. Future social work roles, ethno-conscious approach, which is ethnic sensitivity, empowerment, and strengths perspective, continuing to be utilized in areas that have the greatest need for development. Provide elderly clients financial counseling, wellness services, housing, advocacy, protection, emotional counseling, and case management. Making sure, because the elderly are vulnerable, they're vulnerable to scams. A lot of times elderly will be at home, on the phone, at home, lonely, and will be susceptible to phone calls that may come where someone may be trying to run a scam, and they may not be protected from that. Next, support families with collaborative approaches that involve kin, teachers, caregivers, mentors, and broad social support networks. Provide specialized public services that integrate bilingual, cultural, and equity services. So social workers are still going to be involved in ensuring that there are positive outcomes for those who may be underserviced or may not have access to the services that others would have access to. Political trends, the reauthorization of TANF, the work or starve approach, has become more restrictive. Conservative political leaders support privatization of social services, employing a free market approach, saying that government has too big of a hand in the actions and activities and that much like with the George Bush initiative for faith-based services, saying that public-private sector agencies have a better chance of working towards dealing with social service issues than the government. Pay equality issues for women may gain more attention as more women enter the political arena. Economic trends, future economic trends, underemployment, employment at near minimum wage, part-time with no insurance. This is really an epidemic. Even now, the past 4 years, we've had high unemployment rates in the United States, and a lot of that can be seen by jobs that are being taken away by computers and automation. Food insecurity, 11% of households in 2007 had a low amount of adequate supply for food. Income equality, the top 5% of families have increased income by 81% since 1979. The incomes of the bottom 20 have decreased by 1%. So much as we hear in politics quite frequently, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Future technology trends, use of computer databases may take the place of confidentiality of client records at risk. Technology also keeps social workers connected to colleagues and provides access to services for isolated individuals. And social workers will assist individuals and families with improved medical services related to organ transplant, fertility, and genetic diseases. So, technology has a place in social services by helping to integrate file, case management, and even services. Finally, future trends and environmental trends. Social workers will integrate ecological, social, and spiritual dimensions to their practice and continue working and growing with the evolution and the changes within the environment. Sustainability of planet impacts the quality of life for all people and will become a critical factor for assisting clients. Coates and Lethe, 2006, suggests that social workers will need to assume interdependence, care, and emergence in their individual and policy practice. So become be able to be self-sustaining and also advancing social work as a whole. I hope these points have been helpful to you, and we'll see you in class.